Hello, what's up, my friends? Hey, let me ask you this. Do you demonstrate integrity in your leadership? Do you demonstrate integrity in your personal and professional life? What does that even mean? Well, today that's what we're talking about. We're talking about integrity and what that looks like in leadership. As you listen, I want you to consider who stands out in your mind as someone who lives and leads with integrity. I also want you to take a good hard look at whether you make it on your own list. Welcome to the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast. Do you want better work-life balance? Do you get stuck in patterns of perfectionism and people-pleasing? Have you always been an overachiever, but never really feel good enough, no matter how much outward success you achieve? Hi, I'm Tanya, a wife, mom, leader, Christian life coach, and Jesus lover. For most of my life, I tried to find worthiness through achievement, but no matter how hard I worked or how much I achieved, I never felt like I was enough. I was left burned out, empty, and exhausted. I had no time or energy for myself or my family. I needed balance. I needed peace. I finally started to live like an unconditionally loved daughter of the King, saved by grace. This faith-led podcast will teach you self-care routines and practical leadership strategies to help you navigate life and leadership. If you're ready to stop people-pleasing and start living and leading God's way, this podcast is for you. Unbutton your blazers and roll up your sleeves, sister friends. It's time to get after it. Dwight Eisenhower is quoted as saying, "The supreme quality for leadership is unquestionably integrity. Without it, no real success is possible." Whether it is on a section gang, a football field, in an army, or in an office. And if you read my signature line on my work emails, I have below it one of my favorite quotes from C.S. Lewis, which says, "Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching." That is pretty much the long and the short of it, but let's dig a little deeper into what integrity looks like in leadership. I believe that integrity is the cornerstone of great leadership. It is the key to building a positive, trusting work environment that leads to loyalty and productivity. Integrity is an intrinsic quality. Intrinsic motivation is proven to be far more effective when it comes to long-term satisfaction and performance than is extrinsic motivation. While many people tend to focus on the extrinsic rewards offered in a certain role, such as pay, benefits, titles, studies show that extrinsic factors alone are not effective long-term motivators. True sustainable drive comes from one's own internal sense of purpose. That's important to understand both for yourself and for those you lead. Good leadership involves using extrinsic and intrinsic motivation to inspire team members to do their best. But it is the intrinsic values and rewards that will fuel people through all of the ups and especially the downs that come in the life cycle of a career. It's really unfortunate the degree to which many people have lost that understanding and look for all of the external rewards and validation to find fulfillment. The truth is, any fulfillment gained extrinsically is usually very short-lived. A bump in salary will make you feel good for a while, but studies show that it will not bring long-term satisfaction. In fact, studies show a very low correlation between job satisfaction and salary. I can tell you that while my own salary has gone up with each promotion, it has not been a key driver of satisfaction. Sure, it offers added security, which is important and might contribute to one staying in a job, but it's not the driver of satisfaction, not even close. And as I look back, had I not been very intentional about my own level of integrity and personal growth throughout my career, I am certain that I would not have lasted this long. And I definitely would not have had a team that trusted and respected me as their frontline manager. Integrity provides several benefits to both leaders and organizations. Research has linked greater integrity with increased performance. Additionally, leaders with integrity foster greater trust and satisfaction from their direct reports, who are more likely to follow suit. Employees serving under high integrity leaders demonstrate more positive workplace behaviors and fewer negative behaviors. Employees who trust their leaders to have integrity are likely to perform better and have greater loyalty. So what does integrity in leadership look like? Well, there are three main qualities or actions that demonstrate integrity and can have exponential returns when it comes to building trust and respect with your team members. First of all, you need to set a good example. If you demonstrate negative workplace behaviors, such as not following through on policies, complaining about the organization, taking advantage of company time and resources, or gossiping about colleagues, this will be a signal to your team members that they can engage in the same manner. It's pretty difficult to set expectations and hold others accountable to them if you do not demonstrate accountability to the same behaviors. Just like children will watch and do what their parents do more than what they say, the same is true of team members. They will be far more observant of behaviors than they will be of your words. And that is true of your actions outside of work, too. The second key quality or action is to be transparent and take responsibility for your actions. Here's the reality. None of us is perfect. And you know what they say about best laid plans. Well, that is true in leadership. You will make mistakes. You will forget things. You will communicate differently than intended. You will be a continuous work in progress. The important thing is that you are authentic enough to admit it. Without being pathetic or pitiful, take ownership of your actions or inactions. There will even be times when someone else contributes to a breakdown in your plans. The responsible thing to do is not to lay blame on the others or hide your own mistakes, but to take responsibility for them. When we allow ourselves to demonstrate humility and own our own imperfections, it gives others permission to do the same. They see us as human and are more apt to trust us with their vulnerabilities. It creates an environment where people perceive you, their leader, as approachable. That being said, it is important that you recognize your opportunities and mistakes and commit to improving or preventing what you can in the future. If you continue to make the same mistakes over and over with no clear evidence that you're attempting to do better, any trust you gained with your initial humility will be lost in your lack of intention to change. People are forgiving for a while, but at some point, they'll give up believing that they can expect any positive change. This brings me to my third and final point. Follow through on your commitments. It is nearly impossible to earn trust and respect from team members if they don't see you as reliable. They want to know that if you make a promise or a commitment, you'll keep it. This includes meeting deadlines, being true to your word, and closing the loop in communications. If you tell them you are going to do something, it is essential that you provide follow-up regardless of the outcome. Sometimes it means you're able to say that you completed the task or that you have an answer to a question, but other times you may need to follow up with your inability to be successful in completing something or finding the answer they were looking for. You might even have to touch base to say you haven't had an opportunity yet to address a concern. Regular follow-up or closed-loop communication is important to seem responsive and reliable. Given no response, people will most often assume that you have done nothing. Similarly, it's important to recognize your limitations and don't overcommit. It is far better to say no or ask for help than it is to fail to follow through on a promise. Even while you're probably very well intended and you overcommit out of a desire to please and perform, your intentions will be overlooked when you demonstrate consistent failure to follow through. Instead of being perceived as well-intended, you run the risk of being seen as untruthful and untrustworthy. I cannot emphasize this enough. Once trust is lost, or if it is never earned, effective leadership becomes extremely difficult and nearly impossible. You will feel like you are swimming against the current constantly. You'll struggle to get buy-in even with the most important projects or processes. It becomes an issue of credibility, and at the heart of credibility is integrity. In business, we talk so much about key performance indicators as measures of success. The mistake many people make is to start their focus being on the metrics tied to production. But success really starts with the people. You have to develop trust and relationship with the people first. Productivity and performance will be byproducts of inspired and intrinsically motivated people. The starting point of trusting relationships is a consistent demonstration of integrity. So again, the 3 actions to take to improve or demonstrate integrity is first to set a good example. Be what you want to see. Second, be transparent and take responsibility for your actions. When you mess up, you need to fess up. And third, follow through on your commitments and on your communication. So set a good example, be transparent and take responsibility, and follow through. I'm going to leave you with a few questions to ask yourself to assess your own level of integrity. In assessing your level of integrity, ask yourself these questions. Number 1, am I setting a good example for my team members? Number 2, do I act in a way that builds trust with my team members? Number 3, do I take responsibility for my mistakes? Number 4, do I hold myself accountable for my decisions and my behaviors? And number 5, do I follow through on commitments and communication? If you answered no or sometimes to any of these 5 questions, I encourage you to take a strong look at yourself and consider prioritizing these behaviors over everything else. And here's a little secret that will make all of this come more naturally. If you put God and your relationship with Him first, above all else, the behaviors that align with integrity will be byproducts of your spiritual growth. You will choose to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. Hey, sister friend, if you find yourself feeling a little stuck in your life or your leadership, and you would like a partner or a mentor to help you get unstuck, I would love to help. I invite you to go to gracefilledleader.com/coaching to book your free discovery session. Let's just visit to see if coaching with me is a good fit for you. I'm going to leave you with that today, folks. We will chat in a few days, but until then, may you be truly grateful and grace-filled. I pray this episode blessed you, spoke to you, or encouraged you in some way. If so, please share it with a friend and head on over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. That's the only way for me to know if you're enjoying the show. Nothing blesses me more than to hear from you. Also, come on over to our free Facebook community. This is a great place for us to support one another on our faith and leadership journeys. You can find the link to the group in the show notes or go to gracefilledleader.com/community. If you have questions or content ideas for the show, please send me a message on SpeakPipe or via email. Go to gracefilledleader.com/contact and leave a written or voice recorded message. I would love to know how I can best serve you on the podcast. Now to Him who can do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3, verse 20. Until next time, my friends, God bless.